We're gonna get started right now. Any first time visitors? Or was this returns for everybody? 1, 2, 3. All right. So, without jumping too far deep away from our main topic, which is ARIES, this brand new, fresh energy quickly approaching us, we want to observe the fact that we got a lot going on in the world today. Not to point the finger at anybody or any other things outside of self too much, but we do need to have a reality check on the condition of the world that we live in. So I'm gonna try to do this in like 5 minutes or less, like cram some history and conditioning in real quick. But at one point in time, we discussed it last time, we spoke about the waters of Nu, and how our ancestors referred to the most primordial or original state as the waters of Nu. In you. This is where you get the word now, N-O-W, and you get the word Nu, N-E-W, no, and many other words. But if you notice that when you read stories about ancient worlds and ancient civilizations, they were so great and dynamic, it makes you look all beautiful when you look at the Christian stories. You know, we take a look outside today, and it looks like destruction and filth and all types of craziness, you know, right? And so what we want to do is acknowledge what's currently taking place outside of us to a degree with these supposed powers that be, but we want to reaffirm that the power is in us, and we want to address how to re-spark that, rekindle that today. I had one thing that shocked me yesterday. I'm going to actually read it to you, if you don't mind, just to show you as far as health is concerned. At one point in time, we didn't have to call things organic. We just had things growing out the ground, universe, nature. And it was beautiful because that's the way God intended. And then you could eat stuff, satisfy, you know, resurrect, recharge the body just with leaves and fruits and stuff that you didn't have to worry about. And nowadays, we got people doing all types of crazy stuff to foods in the lab, disrespecting nature, decreasing the quality of the soil, etc., to the point that they have to label these other things so that you can know how to differentiate between the two. But it gets bad because nowadays they put all these options out as if they're all like in the same level of importance. Get the organic, or you could get the conventional, or you can get the non-GMO, as if, you know, they're on the same level of magnificence as nature, originally. But since we're, you know, speed up time, 2019, this is the common thing for people to see all of these options in one chaotic space, not really having a thorough understanding. For those of you who do not know, the word organic comes from Arabic, Hebrew word, arajun, A-R-A-J-U-N. And this is the name of a circle, or it means to return or to recycle, right? Just like the sun when it goes up, and you see it at the same spot every day, setting in the same way. This is a natural rhythmic process, and organic was referring to those things that participate with that natural process, that natural tune, that natural rhythm. So have that idea when you look at the word, but understand we also live in America where they capitalize off of whatever good names they come across. So nowadays when you see in the stores, and you see something that says labeled organic, USDA approved and all of this, that level of organic is something that they just got their friends, you know, passing them bars and a test on. Because when I go to these different meetings and ask questions, they still say that stuff is, you know, a percentage of it is bad. It's no way we can know it's 100% organic because it has like a little something, but they still label it like that and sell it to you like that and you pay the same price, right? You see what I'm saying? So we have to just have that sifting, detailed, analytical mind nowadays. Being we live in the age of Aquarius, all this information, we need to know how to sift through it appropriately so we know what to put into our bodies. So that original state that we spoke of at the beginning, the waters of Nu that everything is produced out of, and everything resonates and sits in. We got this big sun we get sunlight from, right? It's popping out now, getting hotter outside. That sun is suspended inside of the blackness that our ancestors called the waters of Nu. Those planets that we learned about in astrology, they sit and are suspended and radiate, whatever, magnetize things inside of the waters of Nu. We exist in it right now, but yet for some reason we don't know about it. because we don't learn these types of things in school, or if we do know about it, we don't revere it or respect it enough to actually tune ourselves into that frequency or pool of vibration or source of vibration, if you will. So that's the mindset and the lifestyle we want to promote for the most part here. It's just wherever you at, begin where you are. But as far as your direction that you're headed to, instead of trying to make $1 bajillion in your bank account or fill up your land with a big bunch of houses or, buy a whole bunch of businesses, that stuff is cool. And you can manifest on that level. But also make it a point to return back to your original state. And I would like to switch up the wordage, the verbiage there too. A lot of people nowadays like to talk about getting enlightened and raising up the consciousness and getting elevated to a certain state and etc. We have to keep in mind, you are already that. Like, you are already magnificent and immortal and amazing and all of that stuff. In this incarnation, we just been whacked upside the head. So this is the time that we need to put the proper information back in. We put a little lifestyle map up here. I need some help with filling in the rest of the blanks. But for mental food, we need to put the proper sorts of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding back into our minds, as well as retweak the body as far as our food selection is concerned, so we can put the appropriate minerals, vitamins, substances in the body so it can work how it was originally intended to work. When it comes to healthy, this whole health industry popping up, in real life, health is just a healthy body is how it's working naturally without no hindrances. That's how it's supposed to work when you're healthy. Nowadays, we struggling trying to even reach and feel a little good. We got all types of aches and disease phenomena going on. But I just want to show you this real quick. Let me find a screenshot of it for sure. This is an article about the DMC. I sent it out to a few people. The DMC here in Midtown, right behind Whole Foods. Screenshots. Blah, 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 blah. You can pull it up if you want to. This is from Crane's Detroit Business. DMC, Harper. Detroit receiving hospitals get Medicare removal warning. And if they don't adjust their practices, then they'll remove their qualifications or their titles, certifications, etc. by April. So they definitely gonna, fix some stuff up, clean it up. If you want, anybody want to hear like a paragraph or something?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, y'all gotta give me 30 seconds. Don't be looking at me crazy. Hold on. Perfect. I think it's the same one. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, Medicare notifies DMC, and mind you, this was put out January 28th, 2019, like a month ago, month and some change. Medicare notifies DMC, Harper University, Detroit receiving hospitals, they stand to lose Medicare funding. Federal regulators give hospitals time to submit correction action plan. If not suitable, Medicare will terminate the hospital's participation by April 15th. The rest is kind of extensive, but I only said to say not to hate or throw shade or nothing like that, but to show you what time it is. The average person who doesn't read, because we have the most illiterate city in America, facts, not opinion, the most illiterate city and the most out of shape city, the inside and outside. I wonder why. And we just happen to have a big pool of black people, unlike anywhere else on the planet. Even Atlanta and Boston and places like that, they cool, but they don't have a bundle of potential the way you do. So somebody knows something, and I think somebody's just being suppressed. They got different methods of suppressing our potential because we're so amazing. But anyways, the average person who doesn't read won't have a clue about this. So when they go into the hospitals or have been, I don't know how low the standards have been up to this day, but they go in there with the mindset that these guys with the white coats are the saviors. They're going to find my problem. They're going to fix me up and I'm going to be cool. You know, that's the idea that most people have. Am I right? Mm-hmm. That's right. So if the place that we go to and expect to what? Get holy direction from pastors and preachers, when we go to these places, we expecting all these high, lofty, fancy things for us to participate with. But unfortunately, that paradigm it was crumbling, but now it's just crumbling and going down to pieces in undeniable ways. So what we want to offer here is the proper direction, which is not north, west, south, if anywhere, east. Everybody say, east is within.
East is within.
Say it 3 times, just for your subconscious mind.
East is
within.
East is
within.
East is within.
Y'all sound like the people off the movies chanting and stuff. It sounds good though. But just keep that in mind. Just like you see that sun rising from the east, you rise and exhibit and manifest from the inside out. Right? So that's where we want to put our direction, our attention, and our concern. We talk about it all the time. We wake up and we go to Instagram. I'll be guilty. My subconscious mind will be like, put that phone down, boy. Pray, meditate, drink some water. I'll be hearing the beeps. I just wake up and get straight to it. But that's something I even myself have to correct. We have to get away from all these external ways that our attention is pulled and zapped and direct it right back into where we should. Or all of the ideas and experiences manifest from. Can anybody, by a show of hands, can anyone think of anything in your life that has ever occurred that didn't have anything to do with the way in your life, that didn't have anything to do with the way that you thought or how you felt? It all has something to do with you, right? And you had a way that you could respond or dictate the circumstances of the situations, right? I myself included would be better off right now if my parents at home taught me how to resurrect the inside or clean out the insides of my body so that the inside, who I really am, could be how it's supposed to be. I think we should be doing less having. We need to be doing things for sure, but we need to be worried about less about what we can actualize with our hands and externalize, and more about who we can become. Because the veils are getting very thin, and it's time that we, return back to who we really are, our original state. There's no way to really sugarcoat it right now. It's 2019. If you want to eat crazy, that's on you. If you want to turn up spiritually and have your melanin popping and all that stuff we'll be talking about on social media, you have options all over the place. Sure, Dr. Sadie's, Minister Inky's, KT's. Some of you are very proficient when it comes to the healing arts or different healing modalities. We have options right here in the city. So on my right, your left.
Can I jump in right there?
Please.
So I was tripping because I was at my mom's watching television, and I saw this public service announcement come on like 4 times in a short period of time. And it was Jimmy Smits, the actor. You guys familiar with him? Mm-hmm. Okay, if you saw his face, you probably would know him. Anyway, the campaign is him talking about joining with the Stand Up to Cancer campaign. And the PSA campaign supports this idea of treating cancer through your body's own immune system.
AKA from the inside out.
From the inside out.
Okay.
In fact, it's saying, that the new approach to cancer treatment that uses the body's own immune system to fight the disease. Talk to your doctor about, immunology therapy for cancer.
Okay.
What?
That's kind of...
Everybody say, thank you, Toya.
Thank you, Toya.
It's my big sister, spiritual guru / a whole bunch of other stuff. She like dumb. She don't like all that praying, so I'm going to keep it short. But slowly approaching is this springtime. where we get a fresh blast of this sunlight, this chi, this divine force that we're able to access and make ourselves open up to. So some people, if they haven't been cleansing, detoxing, working on themselves the slightest bit, they're probably gonna be the folks who are like, yeah, it's too hot outside. They got, last year, I saw people outside with umbrellas, right? Sunglasses and umbrellas. People who was dark chocolate melanated, talking about it's too hot outside. And they got uncomfortable when the sun is hitting them. Do you know why that occurs? Bad diet, and the things inside of them, the parasites, the toxins, the bacteria, is so much congregated inside the body that sunlight, which kills that kind of stuff, makes them go crazy, right? Two frequencies on two different wavelengths cannot exist in the same spot at the same time. You leave maggots or whatever outside in the sunlight, 12 o'clock p.m., it's 90 degrees outside, the maggots is dying. They dead. You go look at them, they all curled up, dried up, because they got scorched. Same thing inside your body. It's one thing for you to have that type of environment, and I'm gonna just throw everybody in the room in that pool right now until we produce some people who just pure and beaming or something like that, you know? So until then, all of us collectively, this applies to us, and we can share the wealth verbally with our friends, family, loved ones. If you are it's all about conditioning too. If you've been eating fruits and vegetables for 2-3 days, that's cool. Keep on going until you recondition all of them cells and switch up the ball game in a more forceful way. But those of us who do have filth and foreign substances inside the body, it will behoove of us to clean it out immediately, because the sun, as it hits the body, the skin, is going to disturb those things, and that's going to affect your mindset, your energy, etc. Yes, but also your behavior. How many of you have loved ones, and sometimes you be acting how you be acting, and they rub them the wrong way? Or you might have some people you like, and something might influence a certain vibration or mannerism in you that might rub people and push them away. Those who you want to be close to you. We could switch that up. There's just one example, but something like that can easily be switched up if we begin to purify the body and make room for that sun to set in, have a house for it, have a house of light, a beacon of light. In the Bible it says there should be I'm probably jacking it up like all the scriptures. It's going to be a light house on every corner or something like that. This is the time, this is the prerequisite for that. Mama, who all in here? I think just Mama Amma is familiar with the Sukiyamai Kari message that says that we need to be preparing for the world to come. Some people call it the hereafter, but all this chaotic Donald Trump the president, world catastrophes, all this stuff that's getting worse and worse and worse, there will be people who survive, seed people for the future of the planet, the future of the universe. We need to be cultivating whatever we can in ourselves to participate as long as we can, and or setting up the stage for the babies who got sons, daughters, nephews, godsons, nieces, nephews, that they wouldn't like to see burnt up or in the jail dead, or just off in this matrix world acting crazy, stuck on stupid, bumping their head every day, like most adults in the rat race. This is something we can switch up in real time right now. And we can start off in a practical way just by the foods that we select. And when we speak of foods here, we're talking about the physical foods and the mental foods. Some people come here to get some mental food. Some people take notes and grab the books. Some people in the book club. We do it all. But when it comes to the physical body, you have to keep in mind that this container that you have, this is real time and space. You might beat it up for years and years and years and it still survives. But this is a real divine participant in your experience, and you should treat it as such. When we were little, people used to say this is the temple of God. So either people forgot about that, or we don't understand and have respect for what God is. No matter what name you call it, Allah, Yahweh, deities, whatever, Orishas, all of that. This is the point in time where we need to improve our reverence. Over here, I think we put it at number, and we put them numbers up here. But when it comes to reverence, that blackness that we talked about earlier, the waters anew, the nothingness, that all the things are produced from, scientists call it space, dark matter, all these things, they still can't seem to understand it or put a grasp on it and teach the people correctly. Some of it is because they, it's complicated for them and their minds aren't up to par with yours. Some of them know what time it is and just don't want to expose to the public how amazing you are, because you are that just in human form. The technologies you see, the frogs, the mammals, the camels, giraffes, all these different animals, whales, the human being that looks like you is the most supreme and advanced technology known to mankind on Earth, publicly at least. Let's say that. So when it comes to reverence, this is why it's important for us to spend at least 15 minutes, half hour. Who got 15 minutes to spare? Who be looking at their phone for 15 minutes? Who got 15 minutes to sit themselves down, close their eyes, and just think about how they got here, their parents, their grandparents, all the way back to their ancestors. That chord, that line, there's nothing wrong with acknowledging it, offering gratitude, being thankful for those things so you could be here in the first place. And then think about now, a person thinking like that with millions of ancestors behind them, how they will operate and function when they wake up in the morning. That's a whole different mindset just by itself. So up here on the board, if you don't see something on this board that you think is important that we should implement holistically, if you mention it, you can just raise your hand. I'll fill up the gaps with that. But for us, everybody else who got notes, pull out your phones. If you don't have these things down, these are just some of the simple basics. These are some things that we can implement in our lifestyle, like a piano, to just tune us back up to the natural frequencies so we can have respect for where we come from and who we are. The first thing on the board, I know Danielle don't like this. Y'all should be talking about get your sleep on Instagram. Restoration. Who be working their tail off every week and be complaining to me, talking about some I don't got no energy. When I ask you how much rest you get, you give me that funny face when I'm answering. Restoration. Who gets 8 hours of sleep? Who,
I don't need 8 hours.
Who gets 6 hours of sleep? 7? Okay, cool. Who gets at least 4 hours of sleep? Who gets less than 4 hours of sleep? Show of hands. You ain't gonna tell me yourself?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
One over here.
Twice a week.
Uh-oh. So, I don't care what it is that you're doing. Keep in mind, this is a world of reflection, right? You can get back to it tomorrow, whatever it is, unless it's something, emergency. I doubt an emergency happens to you every single day. Who got an emergency happening every day? Nobody.
My mangoes.
It needs to occur the majority of the week, as much sleep as you possibly can. Just like a battery or this microphone. If these batteries run out, this thing is not going to work until you charge them back up. Same thing with us when we wake up in the morning. If we don't get sufficient sleep, there's no way possible we're going to be able to operate and function ideally like we can. So just sidebar real quick. If we have a certain amount of potential, who, by a show of hands, would love to access only 50% of their potential? 60%, 80%. Now, who want to access everything, right? So these are just some of the simple tools that we can do to get there. Sleep, rest. If you can't go all the way to sleep, relax your body, relax your mind, and breathe and meditate or something like that. Do something to tune in to the nothingness, the stillness. And when we say nothing, we don't mean nothing like a blank piece of paper. We mean nothing like when you close your eyes and you get to that black, purple, gold little thing you can't really describe, that substance that a thought or imagery is produced from. That type of nothingness, that waters of blue that we discussed, right in between your ears. Keep in mind, a thing is a thing. You could think of a thing, a car wheel, a shoe, a microphone, whatever, but all of those things are produced from somewhere. So the ancestors didn't get down like nowadays on the American dream level. Zero is blank and everything's built on top. You have the zero as the nothingness with the potential to create everything. That's what's up in the sky with the stars suspended in it. That's what's inside of us with the potential that allows us to become a Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or whatever you into. After restoration, mental food. Who in here is eating mental food as much as they eat physical food? Quality mental food. Nice. I'm satisfied with just seeing them 5 hands. I'm cool. Everybody else, we gotta get to it. It's only us. Ain't nobody popping out the sky. Nobody about to come do no hocus pocus stuff, landing from a cloud like off the movies. We have to do this. This is our responsibility, and ain't nothing gonna change until we do it. All right. So that means that when everybody else on it and we still slipping, we get to be beating up and pointing the finger to the original people just sitting on their butt. We got to put fire on us. No more on the white man. No more on the Bilderbergs and all of that. They're going to get theirs. Right now, we need to be working on solutions. Now, service might look like a waste of time to a lot of people. I know it did to me at one point in time, until I began to participate and learn the benefits you have whenever you give outside of self with no type of intention of what I'm about to reap off of this or whatever. The universe compensates you for that. The same way, every time you make a sacrifice, the universe compensates for that. You know, you might not eat food, even though you got a fridge full of whatever, because you know you're not supposed to eat past 7 or 8 o'clock. Right? Who be eating at nighttime, late night snacks?
Salads all day.
Alright, it's all good. It's cool. So, service. This allows us to give without expectation of something in return, and to receive a little purification or a little dust off the shoulders. The universe will be a little more tolerant with you, if you will, without trying to put it into like a God box type of figure. But as far as universal laws and it responding to you and what you put into it, the more service you give, the more you offer yourself to humanity, you know, you'll get a little more mercy than the average person. Let's put it like that. When it comes to exercise, everybody in this room can do some type of calisthenics. Some of the stuff you could do laying on the bed. You don't even put your foot on the floor yet. You could do some leg lifts, some ab work, something. Push-ups, sit-ups, anything with your own physical body. Create some type of movement, because it's all about circulation. We started it off talking about organic and arajun, and it's the name of a circle, right? What happens if you got chi in your body and it gets stuck somewhere? And why would it get stuck? Not exercising, lack of motion, too stagnant, and or an accumulation of things, foods that don't belong here in the first place, and it gets boggled up, right? And the blood can't pass through, the electricity can't pass through, etc., etc. We gotta stay in motion so we could create a lane for the chi and the energy to flow. That's all it's about. If you want to get healthy, it's ain't no big secrets. All you gotta do is be obedient to the natural elements, the natural rhythms, and just tune in with the universe. Just be yourself, and you will be healthy. Just stop disrespecting yourself. You will be healthy. It's plain and simple. Fresh oxygen. Summertime about to come. I know that you guys might be interested, but we gotta get these bad baby kids off the video games and outside. Fresh air, oxygen. Also, just like we talked about in class, make sure that if you're taking care of your iron, make sure your baby's got it too. Whip them up some smoothies or juices or meals with the burdock and the sarsaparilla, the blue vervain, however you want to get down, so they have it already in them, right? Make sure they got their vitamin D levels up to par. So when they go outside, the cholesterol from healthy foods. So when they go outside, they can produce vitamin D. Make sure they get in some coconut meat. You might have to crack it open. Make sure they get in some avocados, the good healthy cholesterols, right? The squashes, different things like this. Sunlight, that's a given. Solar power Sundays, everybody know they need some sun. If you can't get outside for whatever reason, you should be consuming the foods that trap as much sunlight as they can. The greens, the green leafy vegetables, everybody should have that as a staple. You should, Ali just said salads all day. The herbs, we need to be studying the herbs. You don't be need to be looking and listening to somebody and taking everything they say for granted. We need to be students of self. What's that? 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15? I'm about to jack that up too. But study to show thyself approved. is the main crux of that. Study. So you can know for sure. Anything we say up here, make sure you go research. Check out that article with the DMC. Go ask some doctors if you know some people at the DMC. What's up? You know? In the same way that they need to raise those standards, that's only a reflection of what the people need to raise at home. We need to do the same thing, or else we wouldn't be tolerating something like that. You know? Earthing. Springtime coming. We got the beach downtown. We got everybody and their mama knows some type of lot or some place with some trees. Get your feet in the soil. Most of you got backyards. Put your feet in the soil and ground yourself. Earthing. Who in here is a martial artist?
They'll never tell.
You're right, they'll never tell. Excellent. For any type of art that I've ever seen in my life, everyone, when it comes to the core grounding yourself, core stance, they might have their own different versions of it, but they always have some type of centering position where they can ground themselves into the Earth's magnetic field so they can respond and distribute the chi properly. You, if you're not interested in all of that, you need to learn how to ground yourself so that you're not all over the place, mind all thoughts everywhere throughout the day. You need to be grounded too. How do you do this? You practice. One method is putting your feet in there, getting the electromagnetic field stable, shoot the electrons through the soles. That's cool. Also, the manner in which you breathe. Keep in mind, we have a core right here, right behind the navel, in the gut. All the ganglia nerve from all of the plexuses, all of the systems in the body, gang up right here to a big plexus, solar plexus, we call it subconscious mind. It's like a storehouse for all of the memory experiences, potential phenomena, the whole science of the subconscious mind. This is like the warehouse or the headquarters. Whole Foods everywhere, but the headquarters is in Cali. Headquarters for your subconscious mind right here. This is where you want to send attention to. This is what you want to clean out. This is why I'm important to clean out the gut, right? Who got choline from when they was 5, 6 years old, still in there, stuff in there. We need to clean out. Don't nobody want to tell them themselves, it's cool, it's all good. The average person, keep in mind, is in there. Here, we're just putting fire in your tail, that's all, out of love only. Because I know after you implement the knowledge, you'll be way better off than you were before. Period. Hands down. So cleaning out the gut, for sure. Another way we can do that is to our next friend here, hydration. Keep in mind, we getting detailed here. We don't want to just drink water. You want to drink the proper type of water. Spring waters is cool. Mineral waters is cool. Glass is always best. They got the company Starkey's out. My other favorite, I forget, it's like the green bottle. They got the red label.
Spring Valley.
Mountain Valley, yes. Get you some Mountain Valley water. They're going to have you straight. But when it comes to hydration, the increase of hydrogen inside the body, you want to make sure that as you drink the water, you watch what type of foods that you eat. Because this is a water body. We talked about it before, multiple classes, an ocean of water, a big lymphatic system, right? You want to make sure you eat the foods that are going to have a beneficial effect on that ocean. Everything that you consume is going to affect the conditioning of the waters. You eat some, you don't got to be your favorite. Think about what's a not so healthy food that everybody know about. Snickers, right? What's some other ones?
Reese cup.
Fried chicken Reese cups. Baba Kabaka is the Reese cup king. I'm going to put him on blast here. But those types of foods that are not derived from nature, those types of foods that are manufactured in labs, with those scientists with 4.0s that they, quickly hired up so they can make the food taste real good so you can keep on getting addicted to it. Those types of foods, when you put that into your body, it affects the water. They break down into what? Crystals. Or some of it looks like slab and slop and mud. But it affects the condition of the waters in your body. Versus us eating fresh, structured fruits like a watermelon or a blueberry or a mango or a kiwi. Look at the symmetry in an apple or a tangerine or a mandarin when you open it up. Structured geometry, geometrical food. So when you consume those, the water is now stabilized and grounded in a very clean, organized type of way, right? Versus, look at it, go back to Mosuro Emoto. Remember what he did to the water? With the sounds, love, I hate you, I love you, and different effects on the water. Now apply that on a different level, same phenomenon with your food. What type of effect do you think fried chicken is going to have if you drop it inside of a tub of clean, pure water? After it breaks down, how clean and structured is that water going to be? It's going to be sloppy and acidic as soon as you measure it. And then the opposite will happen to you if you drop it in, you use, let's say, lemon juice or lime juice, right? It's real pungent, strong, rich. Look at the taste, that bitterness, that charge. Same thing will happen to you. This is conditioning, time and conditioning, or time and weather. Just like the weather is changing, it's hot outside and the sun is beaming, we can reorganize and restructure the condition on the inside of our body. And in a way, this is determining our relationship with however you see God or the Most High, etc., etc. Because it's the temple, right? So it shows how much you care. To a degree, a large degree. Reverence, we already went over that. And we got 5 more slots. 5 volunteers. Unless it's somebody that's extra smart with some stuff they want to throw in here. Miss Page.
I'm going to say fast, dry and water.
Fasting. Excellent. So sometimes we got to get a body a break. Who eats food every day?
Not every day.
Just about every day. And who eats food past 89 and all of that? Every day.
Not every day.
Sometimes we need a break. A fast just means to abstain from. So you can make your own fast. You can do a meat fast. You can do a solid food fast. You can do anything that you eat too much, like just a self-discipline from something fast, a people fast, however you want to do it. But this is something that's vital and excellent when it comes to approaching an equinox, like we're about to do right now, or solstice. As Baba Kabaka said, these are our black holidays. So anybody after fast, what's next? 4 more slots. Teamwork.
That should be a part of that.
What's that?
Teamwork should be a part of that.
Teamwork should be there?
Most definitely, in a sense. Because we do go outside of ourselves, but we don't go outside of ourselves for other people in the sense of that it's true love.
I like that.
Yeah, it's
teamwork, for sure. And then the more we clean up our insides, the better we could be team players. Because we could bring something to the table that's of a better condition or a better quality, right? Yes, sir.
Yes, it does.
Well, I was going to say that fasting is a form of discipline.
So let's draw some arrows right there. Discipline, aka what we call it here. Self-love. Yes, sir. Big bold letters. There's nothing wrong with loving yourself.
Not at all.
Because the more you love yourself, the more love you have to give to everybody else. Especially those who you say you love. How does it feel if you really, really care about somebody, but you didn't love yourself for so many amounts of time, and you get to a point where you got limitations because you're lacking in self-love, and you can't even do something about their condition? You ever been there before? To whatever degree. That's not a good feeling. That's something that we can correct and rectify right now.
Cultural unity.
Cultural unity, Baba Kabaka, always got some African black power kinds of stuff to say. Say, no, let me stop hating. Cultural unity. That's teamwork?
But it's cultural unity, operational unity.
Cool.
I prefer that
So what's the other one?
Operational
for myself.
Operational unity? That sounds, that's
I
sweet.
appreciate that too.
Gratitude? Yes. One of the highest frequency producers that I'm aware of. Reading?
Study.
Reading or reading?
Reading.
Reading? I'm going to put that under mental
food. Yeah. Oh.
Man, I'm making my day right now. If I could, I'd do this all day. Just be with my loved ones and spiritual families and working on ideas to get better, doing them together. Man, that's the life. Peace, God. Solitude.
Woo! That's what I'm saying.
I might have to put
That is
on
under
there.
meditation.
Everybody.
Solitude, prayer, meditation.
But wouldn't that be under earthing too?
Yeah.
But
Everything will probably fall under solitude because you might, need your space or whatever.
Like it might spell it out.
So right above here, and then we're gonna move on to my big brother. Yes, sir. Healing.
Would that be more of like rest?
I'll put that under here, but that's what all of this is for. So we can heal. These are just ways that we can heal. And to heal, anybody but Theo or Maria. Heal means to what?
You get back to nature, like back to your original.
To return back to your original state. If you get a cut, and you wait a week, your skin is going to return back to its original state. Because it already has a blueprint. Your electromagnetic field, your morphogenic field, it already knows, the nervous system already got the set of instructions, and it just reproduces cells according to how you eat, and it'll re-manifest some skin for you. You'll be cool. Yes, sir.
Completion.
Completion?
Yeah.
So like what, following through with something that we start?
Commitment.
We can fight against white supremacy. We're looking for comfortable captivity.
Did you invite him about Book of Bible?
that's my dog.
What's the end game?
So we could put that on there, but I'll put that slash after that does happen, we still have to put the fire under our own tails so we can undo whatever we did to get them here in the first place. Because the standard failed in order for that to happen.
Exactly.
Right? So we need to be up on that escalator, on that elevator constantly until we get back to our most supreme states. Consistency.
And Scott, what happened to a little laughter too? Because that's some serious stuff up on that board.
That's some serious stuff.
It's supposed to be at Solar Power Sundays. We're going to spell Sirius, S-I-R-I-U-S.
Yep.
So we can respect and revere our stellar influences. Consistency. So we're going to stop right here. I'm sorry. Intention.
Or cleanses.
Aura cleanses.
Yes.
I second that. Intention. Back before we get to there, consistency. We talked about this before. Consistency is the formula for all of you who have notebooks or phone pads out. Consistency is the formula for instant results. You want something to happen? You need to consistently manifest that action or that habit, etc. And eventually, you take a step back and it's just occurring. It's already manifested because you produced those occurrences in that pattern, which created some type of geometry, which created an electromagnetic field, now some substance there. Now people come in places. Now people, it's already there, a vacuum that you created from consistency.
That needs to be up there. Manifesting.
This need to be where?
Manifesting needs to be up there.
Manifesting.
Yeah, manifesting and ritual.
I'm gonna put manifesting under intention. Y'all can't even see that. I'm tripping. Everywhere where you see a star, just a continuation of that list. So manifesting will also, I will plug that with completion. Because we have to use the intention, follow through, not give up. Fixed signs, where y'all at? Who's a fixed sign? Who's a Taurus, Leo, or a Scorpio, or Aquarius? So we are, so at the cardinal signs, the Aries, the Cancer, the Libra, the Capricorn, you all are excellent originators. So you guys can take the intentions and originate things and spark and start the race. The fixed signs that we named previously, we are the best. You got the idea? Okay, cool. We latch onto it and we can carry it out. Execute it. Excellent. The mutable signs, the rest of you guys, you can, you're talented. Huh? Y'all can do both. Y'all can chew, come in and walk. It's all good. All right. Anybody else with a few more ideas?
Responsibility.
I wish we had that. DJ, Scoop, you got that bomb effect on your phone, bro? On the DJ booth? Responsibility.
That's Saturn right there.
Responsibility. And if y'all got notes, y'all need to be writing this down, because this is something that we can collectively do. As the Honorable Baba Kabaka calls it, the Solar Power Collective. That's what he calls us when everybody come here. It's the Solar Power Collective. That's our superhero club team name. They got the Justice League, right? They got the Power Rangers. We got the Solar Power Collective.
That's right.
Drew?
Transmutation.
Transmutation? Y'all don't like the big words, man. Transmutation. Yes, sir.
So it's understanding, but it's more, I don't know if it's respect or understanding. So like in communication with others, respect. And humility, understanding, like that.
Empathy.
Empathy is all those.
You want me to put it under respect and just put understanding in parentheses? That's cool? Vice versa.
However y'all think the best, but I think it's very important.
This is ours though, so you can let me know.
Understanding others, I mean, you know.
I'm making my day right now with the group participation too.
You gotta put humility or respect.
Yeah, most definitely.
Humbly understand.
Well, we have reverence over here. We can throw respect under there with reverence in our subconscious mind. And then humility, excellent. Because here we go. Everybody just close your arms. What's up, man?
Cooperative economics and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Just the 7 in Guzo Saba.
In Guzo Saba?
That's right.
How you spell Guzo Saba? N-G-U?
Z-O.
In Guzo? S-A-B-A?
Z-U.
Thank you. In Guzo Saba. Man, I've been saying Zo for 30 years. Thank you, brother.
Zo?
That's correct.
I could have sworn it was a Guzo Saba.
That's correct.
This is correct?
It's in Guzo.
It's an O.
It's an O. It is an O.
In Guzo.
We gonna put ooh oh. How about that? Everybody happy.
Like we
Yes,
just
sir.
said.
This your first time here? What's your name? Since you the family coming in, what's up, bro?
Oh, so that's payback. Alright, I got you next time, bro. But to bequeath.
Bequeath.
Yeah, because all this would be
How you spell bequeath?
B-E-Q-U-E-A-T-H.
Bequeath.
I've heard of this. What is?
Is that like share?
Well, that means like to pass down.
Okay. So
Yeah, all that kind of like otherwise.
Oh, that makes. Okay, that makes so much
I was
sense.
gonna say accountability. I'm not sure if that would fall under responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You gotta hold yourself accountable and those that you care and love about too.
Mm-hmm. That's why I be hard on my friends. We got stuff to do.
accountability, and you got some cards on your sis.
Oh, yeah.
You do? Pass them out. We got our own solar powered collective accountants. If anybody needs some assistance, we got you.
Most definitely so.
We'll put those out by the door at the table. A few more.
Meditation.
Meditation.
It's on there, ain't it?
I thought it was on there.
Yeah, it's on there.
Oh,
We said it, but never wrote it.
wow.
Prayer and meditation. Oh, yeah. Where did I say? Yeah.
Meditation and prayer. And these are some of the most nourishing foods for your nervous system. We're talking about ARIES, right?
Mm-hmm.
ARIES in the body is the nervous system. If you got nervous system issues, you got issues with your myelin sheath, you got issues in your brain, central nervous system in general. By having gratitude, like some of our sisters said, is excellent. But also, if you pray and meditate in general, those frequencies from the lofty ideas and the happiness and the meditative states that you go to, while you're in that quantum state, keep in mind you still have a brain down there with nerves and everything. It influences and feeds it. The same way when you got an attitude, it burns you down. Right? So just side note, the meditation and prayer, we're just gonna put good food up here. Great food. I know good food. Great food. All right. Anybody else?
Thinking about the word restoration, and I'm also thinking of there, I don't know what you call it, like spiritual restructuring. I'm not sure
I like that.
call
I love that actually. He said spiritual restructuring. Spiritual.
But that goes under restoration.
And then we want to make. Yeah, all of this will be that's smooth. I like that. That might be a book, bro. You might have to cut it out. I'll make it a chapter if you don't take it. But since we want to make everything practical, keep in mind that here, when we use the word spirit, we can't separate it from actual life. Breath, definitely, but air is highly magnetic. So when we speak of spirit, here at Solar Power Sundays at least, we want to put an equal sign and then electromagnetism right next to it. Right? The masculine and feminine forces in one, unified. Before you pop out and get genderized and all of that, that holistic, cohesive type of vibe. That's the spirit we want to have in mind. We don't see God as a man or a woman, but a holistic frequency or energy within you. Right? Everybody point to God real quick.
Self-affirmation.
See, I just said we're going to point to this stuff. All right, for sure. Yes, sir. Uh-oh, Paige.
Add something to the board. Communicating with the gut.
Communicating with the gut?
Intuition.
Intuition.
Acknowledge your intuition.
Acknowledge the intuition. I'm going to just put acno because it's space, so y'all don't think I'm retarded. Intuition.
Put charity up there.
Charity.
Yeah, service.
We could put that in parentheses. So the thing is, we added on to this board, but the thing is,
how you doing?
This is what we're going to be responsible for. So y'all keep on heading to this list if y'all want to. You know? Come on.
Oh man, I'm surprised no one said this yet, and it will probably go under manifestation. Self-affirmations.
Self-affirmations. Who remembers our affirmation that Dominic blessed us with?
Oh, for sure, for sure. I look within, I see within.
I see within, I look within, I feel within, I heal within.
Excellent.
Almost.
Yes, I look within.
Oh, what is it, Dom?
I look within, I see within, I feel within, I heal within. Yeah.
Did I say it the first time or said
Is it look, think,
Look, see, feel, heal.
look, see, feel, heal. Perfect.
Because you look before you see.
Look, see, feel, heal.
Oh, look, see, feel, heal.
Anybody else?
Oh my goodness.
Another clown, bro. Action. Somebody said comedic something?
Kinetic energy is without action. It remains kinetic if you don't.
Potential energy. Because this is how we make it kinetic with action for sure. I thought you said comedic at first, because we talked a little bit about our set and different words being descendants of our set, like acid in the body. A lot of people see acid as a bad thing because of the conditions that we're in, but you actually need acidity for the alkalinity to be on. You just need the proper condition of acidity, the right types of acids, like your DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid, or you wouldn't be right here right now, right? So acid, but also action. That word has its lineage all the way back to that frequency. Aset being the throne. The throne is what houses the God consciousness that we talk about, right? So you have to have the throne and the actions to anchor down and bring down those frequencies you want to manifest.
I'm trying to find a better word for it, but I want to say death, and not so much so like the physical, but there's a lot of things that within us that we need to eliminate and feel.
So that would be under discipline.
Resurrection? That's true. That's the Aries energy too. We got the Aries spirit all up in here.
You feel?
Resurrection.
But I think she might be saying elimination.
I think so too.
Elimination.
Or exterminate.
And that's still fasting too.
Yeah.
That all falls into each other.
Which word are we using?
You definitely need to eliminate.
Yeah, eliminate or exterminate.
Oh, you going hard. I like this. Cut it all off. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put that.
Let go.
Release.
Alright.
Let go.
Let go.
Let's
Let
go.
go. If it's not bringing you peace, if it's not beneficial to you or your goals or your loved ones, what is taking up space?
How about release?
Yep.
So releasing our subconscious mind. It's my hands tired.
And it's no space.
Literally.
I mean, we can make space.
Toya?
Coherence.
Coherence.
Mind, heart.
That's consistency.
Coherence comes from
We
meditation.
cool with this?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Alright, let me put this bad boy down.
It's on fire.
It's on fire. Right. So, Aries officially, technically starts like March 21st, right?
Wednesday.
Coming up, Wednesday. Right? So, first day of the spring. Technically.
Ooh, I'm on.
But we probably got a little overlapping energy going on with, fresh little snippets already right here in the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were you, I would record this stuff right here. Anything that doesn't resonate with somebody individually, you can substitute words, eliminate, release words off of here that don't resonate with you or something you're not willing to dedicate yourself to.
Mm-hmm.
But while everybody else was doing their January 1st on the new me, watch me cut all these people loose thing that they say every year, let's make sure we go inside and just respect who we really are and we always been anyway, the true you, and feed that and dismantle anything that's not going down and appropriate for the progression of you as the being, of our people and our totality. So, this is my job. I'm done here. I just wanted to put this on the board. Thank you all for the group participation. What I will do is type this up and give copies to everybody in the future on the next class. So what's that? Early April, something. I don't have my calendar with me. Without further ado, next.
March 31st.
That's our potluck.
Oh, so I'll bring it for the potluck. Potluck, March 31st.
Oh, snap.
Look, this is all I got to say. And I'm going to say this with love. So I love y'all. So, when it comes to the potluck, if you're not that good in the kitchen, and you know you're not that good in the kitchen, we got chefs in here. Just make a donation, you know what I'm saying, and they can whip up a meal for you.
Right.
If you think you cool in the kitchen, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Sebi approved meals. Everybody on the internet can Google Dr. Sebi list. It's a bajillion foods on there. You're not going to be fumbling around. What am I going to make? You have plenty of options. Dr. Sebi list approved for standard purposes and for health purposes. We ain't trying to make nobody sick, right? But if you got a question about if your food going to taste good, just ask, what's that? Call a friend. Get some help, right? If you have questions about what you can make or whatever, hit me up. I got recipe ideas and all types of stuff. Yo, I got some friends in here who could throw down. I could show you who to give your money to. If you want to participate. If not, come in and have a good time and enjoy yourself with the knowledge and the love in the air. Participate. Dr. Baba Kabaka ain't trying to hear that. If you come, participate. Bring some money, bring some food. But
Bring some fresh fruits and vegetables.
bingo.
Man, mango.
Fresh fruits and Ali don't eat half the mangoes.
Just bring me a box, please.
Right.
Just two.
So, fresh fruits, salads, all that kind of stuff is welcome. Matter of fact, that will probably be healthier anyway. But if you can cook some comfort foods and they're going to be tasting good, definitely blesses.
Hit
for
my
sure.
mind.
Yes.
We need
I
to
would
pray.
put one of my friends on blast right now, but I'm waiting for permission to press the button. You know what I'm saying? Who's been to Cacao Tree before?
Woo. Yes.
Hands down, one of my favorite restaurants on the planet. Cacao Tree. Baba Kabaka, can you make a run? Where? To the Cacao Tree. He be hitting on me. But
How you spell that?
cacao, like chocolate, CACAO. Cacao, like cocoa, but
It's in Royal
CACAO.
Oak.
Cacao
It's in
Tree
front of
Cafe.
Royal Oak.
It's in Royal Oak. You anybody been to Imagine Theater? It's like around the corner and diagonal to. It's on the opposite side of Main Street, and it's on 4th Street, right at the railroad track, right? But thank you. Between Main and Washington Street on 4th Street. It means so all the fellas where Burn River used to be, right next door. To the left of that. And it's a burger place across the street for all you burger eaters. Some of y'all
They used to slap.
Y'all see that easy. But the thing is, the standard there is up here. The food, the things on the menu are electric. If they want to make something taste like meat, they breaking down nuts, pecan, walnuts, seasoning, etc. They're making what's that? General Tao or something like that. General So. They're whipping it up from scratch from raw organic ingredients. Half the time, if you order it there, you see them whip it up right in front of you. You know, so everything is up, so the frequency that you put into your body is there. I'll put it like this: if you go, however you feel, and then eat the food, 9 times out of 10 you'll feel better instead of the itis after finishing your meal. But I'll say that all to say, I got a friend that made my favorite dessert from there better than they made it.
Hey.
So as soon as she give me that sin, put it in public thing, I'm gonna let y'all know. In the meantime, I'm gonna be respectful so y'all don't blow up her line and DM her all to death and stuff.
You feel me?
Baba Kabaka, come on, man. Come on.
Don't look at me.
Relax. Please, because I'm trying to continue to get some. You gonna mess it up. So,
You
I'm
feel me?
I got you. So, from here on, we got a couple of days before Wednesday. This is the time to get your mind acclimated to practicing these things if you aren't already practicing it. Because I know the holiest of holy people come here. Right? Y'all don't be eating no crazy stuff. Y'all be walking down the street, flying up in the air, all of that. But this is the type of consistent, habitual action that needs to take place all across the board. And all we need is a critical mass. Because the masses are followers and are weak. They go on for what the TV tells them, off to what what the radio tells them. So imagine what it's like when you, somebody they've seen their whole life, turn up and start beaming and shining and acting different. They gonna wonder what you've been doing. You can put them on to the knowledge and wisdom, and we got the knowledge spreading like wildfire, right? Like back in the day, all those movements, we just do it real quiet and just beam from the inside out. You know? We have a way better city, way more environment for the children to grow into. Way more better quality products and mindsets and contributions to humanity as a whole. We can do this, just us. Remember what I said, we got the most ignorant and the most out of shape city in the U.S. Imagine if we Detroit, we got everybody who out of town. When you go there, are you from Detroit? They already know what your frequency like. Just imagine if you turned it up. They got their foot on our neck and you still beaming and amazing like this. So imagine if we just cranked it up and turned it to the max. That's what we want to do here today. So I would like to sit my butt down because I brought my notebook because Dominic is here. And if he wants to touch the mic and bless us with some things about ARIES, this is that time. Everybody look to the right. Put your hands like the emoji sign. So what's up? If you want to, because we got. What's up? You teaching today?
Yeah, man.
For sure. I'm passing it on. He'll also, before I forget, he'll be here as well. Come and get a flyer if you're not already aware. The Naturalista Life Expo is occurring on the 23rd and the 24th. That's a Saturday and a Sunday. I'll be there doing some stuff Saturday. I think Dom and Danielle will be there both days. Toya will be there doing some consciousness, map, face reading, all types of magical things. Miss Audrina gonna be there. Baba Kabaka gonna be walking around looking crazy, taking pictures.
The best
But
pictures.
if you don't have flyers, please come grab one, and we might have more left in store. Contact me if they run out. We can give you all the information. Peace.
Thank you, brother.
Their keys are at the desk.
It's not mine.
How many Aries we got in here today? 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm gonna ask you guys to come back on the 31st, because that's when I'll be looking at everybody's chart. Today, we're gonna talk about Aries because it's gonna be 3 sessions where we talk about Aries. So we're gonna talk about Aries. We're gonna talk about the vernal equinox. Vernal is Latin for spring.
Mm-hmm.
Spring is when things rise up and shoot forth. Equinox means equal darkness. So the equinox is when you have exactly, 12 hours of light and 12 hours of dark. That's equilibrium, balance. This is where you set the tone. This is the true new year. The equinox. When things begin, start to shoot forth from the darkness. Aries, the first cardinal sign, the initiation of energy, the manifestation, that's where things start to happen with the energy of Aries. Aries, as you see, it's a ram's head, but it rules the head. That's the part of the body that Aries rules, your head. So that tells you, through symbolism, everything starts within your mind. Everything starts within your mind. So if the equinox is when it's perfect balance, a light and dark, there's no, imbalance within the energy of the universe, that's the best time to set forth your plans and initiate your actions. I hope y'all are taking heed and paying attention. The 19th and the 20th, even a little bit of the 21st, depending on, I don't got the exact times, but throughout those 3 days, 19th, 20th, or 21st, may start at 11 o'clock on the 19th and go to 11 o'clock on the 21st. But during those times, that's when you need to set forth your plans, initiate your actions. Doesn't matter what sign you are, what house cusp Aries is on in your chart, this is when you need to get it popping. This is the most prominent, aggressive energy for initiating. And I'm not talking about like spiritual or religious ceremonies and shit like that. I'm talking about getting yourself going. Making your plans reality. Laying down the structures that you need to get the things done that you want to get done in your life. Right now, Mercury is retrograde in Pisces. And as I put on my blog, on my website, that's a time where you can, reflect on any, toxic emotional situations, dependency, whether it's on another person's emotional support or substance abuse dependencies or, sexual dependencies, anything that's binding you and keeping you from, manifesting to your true self. Mercury retrograde in Pisces is when you release that energy, evaluate it, and get it on the way so you can get your stuff popping and initiate it, growing, springing forth. Aries, the sign of the ram. The ram corresponds to Amun in Kemet or ancient Egypt, whatever you prefer to call it, corresponds to Amun. And that name means he who is hidden, which alludes to what the brother Asa was saying about the body being the temple. In our mind, even in the Bible, if you're a Christian, look in your Bible, it tells you, go into your secret place and pray. Where's your secret place where nobody can discover you? Within your mind. That's reflecting on the energy of Aries. Within your mind, you initiate all things. Everything we looking at in here that somebody has on, every device, every piece of jewelry, speakers, lights, everything, even the plans for the building, started in somebody's mind. It started in somebody's mind. And as you travel, throughout the zodiac, it goes from the mind and Aries to Taurus, which, as Asa was saying, is a fixed sign, and that's an earth sign. Earth, this is fire. Thoughts are fire. That's what sparks and get everything going, the thought. It go into Taurus. Taurus is an earth sign. Earth is where you put together the material, the material to create the thought, And then go to Gemini, which is an air sign. Air is mental. After you have a tangible representation of your thought, you can analyze it. Then it go to Cancer, which is a water sign. Water reflects on emotions and feelings. Once you analyze it, you can understand how that made you feel. The zodiac itself is a map for understanding and processing our energy. Your personal natal chart, if you go on aleg.com, Cafe Astrology, it's even a thing on my website. You can go put your information in, look at your natal chart. For those of you guys that haven't been here before, the natal chart is a perfect representation of the energy that your soul contains in this manifestation during this incarnation. It's based on your birth time, birthplace, and your date of birth. Now, two people can be born at the same time, in the same place, have totally different lives. Just because that's the energy manifested in your soul, that doesn't mean that's the way your life is going to go. Because we have external factors in our lives. Our parents, our social environment, all these things, change and modify how we process and use our soul's energy. So that's why it's important to have a copy of your astrology chart and understand the energy within your chart. Because if you get lost along the way, and a lot of us do, for y'all that don't know, I went to prison as a juvenile, spent 15 years in there, and, change your energy, change your life. Different things are happening, and I'm, creating change in the lives of other people, but that's not here nor there, but that's where I start studying and learning astrology over 20 years ago. And through that, learning, I came to understand myself, my abilities, and who I really am. You learn, you meditate on it, you put it into practice, and you can really develop yourself into the better person that you're meant to be. Unfortunately, a lot of us are lazy, so most of us won't be able to do that. It's not that we're not able to do that, we choose not to do that. Because we don't apply our time wisely. We feel like other things are more important than, getting our lives in order. And a lot of us don't want to take responsibility for your energy. You want to be able to place the blame. That's why, our people especially are comfortable with orthodox religions. Because when it's bad, you can blame the devil. And when it's good, you can give all the credit to God. Won't he do it? Oh, the devil's busy. You don't got to take no personal responsibility. And that's what's easy for most people. It's easy for most people not to take personal responsibility. And although that's the easy route, it's not the best route, because when you don't have responsibility, you don't grow how you're supposed to. You look at everything as some external factor, and you're essentially saying you don't have any control over your life. And that's a mistake that we often make. Even when people have substance abuse issues and, go to AA or NA, they program the people. You're powerless over drugs and alcohol. And they have them recite this and repeat this, and that's negative reinforcement. Just like somebody always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You know, if you say somebody's sorry, you saying they ain't SHIT. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to edit because I just peeped it. There's kids in here. But you say somebody's a sorry such and such, that means they're not nothing. They're good for nothing. And every time you make a mistake, you negatively reinforce to yourself, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And another thing about I'm sorry and I love you, those are, you know, the two most abused phrases in our language. You know, people will abuse you and tell you they love you. Abuse you and tell you I'm sorry, and then do the same thing again. So those things are quite meaningless without actions. So again, Mars is the planet of action, assertion. Instead of saying, do. You know, be aware of what you say, the energy that you project towards other people, because you know Aries and Mars they give out that aggressive type of energy, assertive type of energy. And some fools would like to say, oh, I'm an Aries, so I got Ogun. Orishas don't have nothing to do with the zodiac. So let's stop blaming your lack of self-control on Orishas or other deities or your zodiac sign, because you can assert yourself without being rude. You can assert yourself without somebody else feeling threatened. So that's kind of what I want to convey today. The initiating energy, using it in a positive way. In a positive way, find positive ways to assert yourself, to initiate your plans. And that doesn't mean somebody's not going to get offended by your success, because there's a lot of people that get offended by your success. Like, how dare you do something better for yourself? It's a lot of people that, you know, have that mentality. And, you know, that's in response to that mentality, because their mentality creates fear in us. We got to boss up in an assertive way, you know, or get aggressive, you know. But I told you guys before, you know, anger is a product of fear. We respond in a threatening way when we're afraid. And that's a fact. You know, it don't matter what nobody say. You know, when somebody does something that makes you afraid, whether you acknowledge it as fear or disrespect, you blow up, you get aggressive, you get loud in response to the fear that was created. You know, a positive Aries energy, when you embracing your Aries energy, you manifesting the energy of the planet Mars within your chart, you don't have to try to intimidate when you exert yourself. You assert that energy, whether you got Mars in Capricorn or Mars in Gemini. If it's Mars in Gemini, you're going to assert yourself through your communication, but you're going to make sure your communication isn't aggressive or abusive. You can be firm without being aggressive or abusive. You know, when your Mars is dysfunctional in Gemini, the first thing come out your mouth is MF this, B this, N this, you know, I'll do this, I'll do that. You know, that's when your Mars energy is dysfunctional in Gemini. Now, positive Mars in Gemini, example, somebody, you know, cut into you raw or whatever, you say, you know what? I'm not going to communicate with you anymore because I don't tolerate disrespect. We don't have to communicate. You know, that way you communicated in a positive way, you asserted yourself, and you didn't let that person affect your energy. And like I tell, you know, for the first time, people I explain, you know, people say, oh, you call yourself a sorcerer and you do magic. Magic isn't real. But I explain to people, you know, magic happens every day. People enchant you every day. They put you under a spell every day and you don't even know it. You know, somebody can, you know, say something mean, or something can come on the news, or somebody can tell you about what such and such said, and it'll F your mood straight up. You get to turning down your lips, frowning up your brow. Your whole energy has changed just by somebody's words. They enchanted you. They put you under their spell. You look on my website, it say manifestation through the scientific manipulation of energy. If somebody can manipulate your energy, they put a spell on you. That's just like you might be having a horrible, horrible day, and a young brother hold the door for you in the store. Say, how you doing today, sister? You bust out smiling. He enchanted you. He enchanted you. He put you under a spell, and that's an example of manifestation through manipulation of energy. It happens all the time. But we take it for granted because we have an expectation. We have an expectation based on the idealization of what magic is. You know, they put out, during the early 1900s, they put out a whole lot of propaganda about voodoo. Hollywood did this, and zombies, you know, and, you know, voodoo dolls. There's no such thing as voodoo dolls and voodoo. That's something from European magic called pockets, you know. But they put out this propaganda and associate magic and voodoo with Satanism and devil worship because they understood that even though these people didn't have a bunch of guns and stuff, they defeated the mightiest army on the earth. The Haitians defeated the French army. The French army. 1804, absolutely. And the French army was the most powerful army on the face of the earth at that time. They dogged France out so bad that Napoleon sold all the middle of the United States, was the French territory, to the United States for $275,000. From Louisiana all the way up to the Dakotas. They knew we had something that they couldn't see, they couldn't beat, and they had to demonize it. They had to program us and tell us, you know, that spiritual stuff is evil, it's the devil. It made them kill us. And we're just good Christians, but they beat you behind every day. You know what I'm saying? And starve you out, rape your women as good Christians. But that's not knocking nobody's religion because people did that. The Bible is a magic book in itself. It's a magic book in itself, and if you read it, you'll see where they talk about divination. You know, Abraham and the Levites, they cast lots to see what type of offering God wanted at the temple. So they did divination to see what to sacrifice. Sounds a lot like voodoo or ephah. They cast the ephah and see what sacrifice needs to be made, the ebo. But they won't tell you about this in the Bible because they don't want you to know. When they talk about Jesus, they say, you know, the three wise men went to go see Jesus, but it wasn't no three wise men until the 1800s. It was the three magi. You know, the magi is Persian for magician, plural for magus, you know, sorcerers. And they found him by a star. Who uses the stars? Astrologers. The last president who openly used, you know, astrologers and stopped 3 of his assassinations was Ronald Reagan. Astrology is a science. But they'll put it in the back of a tabloid, watered down, generalize every sign, and then it loses its credibility. It loses its credibility, and people stop looking towards it. And then because, as Asa said, we don't read, our understanding of what it is limited. We just think it's, oh, my sign is Sagittarius, I'm going to read Sagittarius, but your astrology chart is 12 houses and several planets in different signs. You know, each planet has a role, it rules something. Each house rules something within your life. Astrology is a science. Where's the book you got, bro? This right here, The Weather A-Z Horoscope Maker. It's a real good book for basic understanding. If you choose to study astrology or try to learn astrology, that's a good step. Even though everything can be pulled up instantaneously on a computer nowadays, it's best to learn the right way. I can do a chart on the computer and I can do a chart by hand with all the mathematics. Because if the computer fails, my business got to keep going. You know, so I know how to do it both ways. And it's a lot of insightful things, and it speaks through symbolism. Every sign has a symbol. Every planet has a symbol. As you see a circle, as Asa was saying, the circle, what you say it was, brother?
Abrajum,
What'd you say it stood for?
the name of a circle. A-R-A.
But what did it represent? What's the symbolism?
The circle.
Okay,
This is the old name for organic.
right, the origin. And as I told people, before, reality is a loop. It's a circle. Everything is a circle. We're all part of the circle, but we get caught up in our own little thing and feel like, just because we're a point in the circle, we're not part of the circle no more. And that's why a lot of us aren't connected intuitively. But Mars, it starts out with a circle, the circle, the mind, the thoughts, the universe, and then it projects the energy outwards. When you project that energy outward, it comes in contact with other things. And when the energy comes in contact with other things, it affects them. Whether you see the effect or not, my energy, I hit this book, but that energy vibrated through this book into the table and into the floor. You just don't observe it, But if you felt the table, you hit the table, you're gonna feel the vibration. When you project your energy, your personal energy, outwards or collectively, to the people you love, like the brother was saying, you start implementing these changes in your life, your energy changes. And the people around you feel how your energy is being projected because your vibrations change. And it's going to affect them. It's either going to affect them in a way that removes them from your life because they toxic and, low vibrations can't be around high vibrations. It don't work like that, And people say, when you start to grow or you start to, getting on your business, it doesn't even have to be spiritual. But if you start getting on your job, your priorities, people stop dealing with you. Oh, you changed up. I didn't change up. I got my priorities in line. When you're not at the club no more, people like, oh man, he faking, he think he better than everybody. Look, man, I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do, but they don't get it because they're still in the same place. Yeah. But you came in that idea, that circle of thoughts, and projected that energy out, and it started changing. And it changed your relationship to people, and that's cool. You got to be willing to cut people loose that aren't growing. Mm-hmm. You going in one direction, they going in another direction, or stagnant. You can waste your energy trying to pull them along, or they're eventually going to pull you back.
And you said this is a good time to do something like that, right?
Absolutely.
You can have like a mantra or something.
I gave y'all the best mantra I could give you last time we was here.
Mm-hmm.
As a universal mantra, and it will get things popping for you. I look within. The purpose of me saying I look within, or for you guys to say I look within, that's for you to consciously acknowledge that you're paying attention to what's going on. Mm-hmm. I see within. That's saying I observe what's going on. That's acknowledging that you observe what's occurring, whether it's within yourself or within your social circle or within your community. I see what's going on. I'm aware. I'm aware of what's going on. I feel within. Okay, I look for it. I'm aware of it. Now I'm feeling it. I can relate to it. I'm identifying it because you're feeling it. You can identify it. And then if it isn't in tune with your inner being and your purpose, you heal it. I heal within. So you transmute that energy or remove that energy from your life or your circle, and keep it moving.
Why is the 19th and the 21st so significant? Or the 19th through the 21st?
That's when the vernal equinox. It's equal light and darkness, so it's perfect balance. This perfect balance, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is really the book of coming forth by day, it tells us that the sun is the god of this world. Mm-hmm. The sun. So when the light is perfectly balanced with the dark, there's no justification, there's no rationalization because everything is balanced for why you can't start off and get things moving the right way to initiate the energy that you need to create that change in your life or in your life circumstances. What was your question, sister? Had your hand up.
Oh yeah, and this is probably off subject now, but you know how Venus is the opposite way?
Is it the opposite or did they teach you it's the opposite?
I don't know now. But how does that relate to Mars?
What, Venus?
Yeah, because they have the same
Okay,
type symbol.
if you look, Venus symbol is a mirror. It's a circle with a line and then a cross. It's a mirror. Libra and Taurus are ruled by Venus. So if you initiate the energy, which is Aries, Mars rules Aries, initiating and projecting that energy outward, the next sign is Taurus, which is about stabilizing that energy, and the ruler is Venus. What do you do in the mirror? You look at the reflection. You reflect upon the energy that you projected. Yes, brother.
In my Venus in Aquarius.
You reflect upon the energy you projected. How are you supposed to spot? What are the signs or the results that you're looking for? You know, because when you say just reflect on the image.
No, the energy. Yeah.
Right? So what are the manifestations just telling you you're on the right track? Or what are some of the signs or objects that you look for while you're looking at this reflection?
Okay, so if you project the energy and assert the energy of entrepreneurism, you know, you set forth that energy that, you know, you're out here, you're building your business, you know, you put out some promotional flyers, you network, you know, and then you reflect on that energy that you put out. You're gonna see, you know, you look at that energy, reflect on what you did, and you base your judgment on how it's affecting the people you projected that energy to. If you're not getting any new clients, you know, people are speaking ill about your business, it's because you projected your business in the wrong way.
Oh, the second one was, you got a card or something for that? I gotta get out of here.
Absolutely.
Now, moving into Equinox.
Thank you, brother.
A lot of people always do a detox with changes of season, and then this being with Aries being bringing in the new, shouldn't we definitely make sure that we're getting rid of all the eliminating all the old?
That's what you should have did when you was in Pisces.
Well, I mean,
That's what Pisces is about. That, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm just bringing.
You know, when you in those, remember I explained to you guys that Pisces is how we retreat. You know, during the retreat, that's where we refresh and we renew ourselves at. You know, within the waters of new, as he said, or within our retreat with ourselves. You know, you retreat from the world. I retreat from the world every day. I meditate. First thing I do in the morning, I meditate. You know, that's my retreat from the world, so I can initiate the actions of the services I provide for other people. You know what I'm saying? I need to clear my energy and clear my mind, you know, and make sure my energy is balanced and I got that equilibrium. You know, I'm explaining this to you on a major scale, but every day I implement this same symbolism into my life because every day is a new day. Even though a new sign hasn't started, when you wake up in the morning, it's that same 24 hours. You know, a astrology chart has 12 houses, and the sun, you know, the rising sign takes about 2 hours to travel throughout that whole 12 houses. You know, every 2 hours, you know, the rising sign changes. So, you know, every day is just a reflection of the chart, because the chart represents a 24-hour period. Mm-hmm. You know, so you implement that same symbolism throughout your whole day, every day, throughout your life. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What does it mean when Mars is in your 12th house?
Mars is in your 12th house. You know, the 12th house, like I said, the 12th house, that's your place of retreat. You know, it's also a place where our hidden talents and hidden power is at. And with Mars in the 12th house, depending on what sign it is, you know, you can suppress your own assertiveness, and that's more of a disservice to yourself than a service.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you refuse, depending on what sign is on your 12th house cousin.
Libra.
So, I talked to you before. I'm not going to keep talking to you about the same stuff.
You feel me?
You know what
You
I'm
feel
saying?
me? Put it on blast.
Right.
Cause I'm sick.
So are you gonna apply it this time?
I'm on it, man. I'm on it.
No, either do it or do it.
I'm doing it. Like, chill on me.
Okay. with Mars in the 12th house in Libra. You know, Libra, it rules, you know, Libra is an air sign, so it has to do with the mind. But Libra is ruled by Venus, so it has to do with beauty, the creative process, expressing our artistic talents. So, you know, if you like to draw or you like to paint or doodle while you by yourself, you know, you need to start letting people know and see your creative talents. You know, don't be so shy and worried about what other people say, because your creativity is how you manifest part of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, you assert yourself through your creative process, because Mars is in Libra. And even though they're opposites, so it would be considered a detriment, you know, because it's in the sign of the opposite ruler. But that doesn't mean you can't use and assert that energy. You know, you just have to assert it in a way that you're comfortable. So you're going to have to find your comfort zone when it comes to, you know, if you like art or you like, you know, interior design or painting or whatever, find you a space and make you time for you to do that. And then even if you got to put up a account that ever got your face on it, put your stuff out there so people can see it.
Mm-hmm. Already doing this, man.
I'm not telling you nothing else unless you pay me.
Feel me? I pay you for it. She getting on my
Next,
head.
what's going on? Mars in the 10th. The 10th house is where we make our mark on the world. You know, what sign you got on there? Leo. Now, I talked to you before, too. So, you know, you're a born leader. You're born to be in the spotlight. You know, and instead of being, you know, all quiet and calm and mindless and shy, you're meant to be out there on the stage. You know, if you sing, sing. If you dance, dance. But you're meant to showcase your skills to the world. And you're not going to be comfortable. You aren't going to be comfortable until that's what you're doing. Because your 10th house is your midheaven. Your midheaven is how you make your mark on the world. And Leo, with Leo being on the 10th house, you meant to be a star.
You feel me?
You meant to be a star. You meant to be a leader. You know, assert yourself, have your swag or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you don't want attention, you're going to get it. Because that's the energy that's captured in your manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you surely can control what type of attention you receive. But that's based on how you project your energy. You know, you can, with Leo on the 10th, people can see you as an entertainer and a famous celebrity, or people can see you as a queen. Whatever type of energy you want that gains everybody's attention, it's up to you based on the energy that you project. So if you want people to see you in a respectful, majestic light, that's how you gotta assert yourself, and that's how you gotta demand people treat you. You did?
What about the second house, Mars and Cancer?
Mars and Cancer. You know, the second house rules our self-worth. It rules the things that we value, and it rules our money. Mars in the second house, it's good because it helps you always, you know, get that bread. But Cancer being on the second house, we value being able to nurture other people and to like mother and save and rescue. So it might be a good idea for you to look into some type of food service or a business where you can like caretake for people. Maybe what do you call that? A daycare. It slipped my mind because we don't got no kids. But a daycare and the food service industry, anything like that would be great for second house for you to bring in a lot of money, especially with Mars there. Mars in the second, real good for your money.
What about, I have my Mars in Aries.
Mars and Aries, what house?
Third house.
Mars and Aries in the third house. The third house is the communication, early education, short distance travel and stuff like that. It's good for you to get around. You know, get around, know your neighborhood, build a network. If you utilize your Mars in your third, what do they call that? What do they call those people? Like a social media influencer.
Ambassador, social ambassador.
Yeah. You got the energy that will help you build big networks and bring right people in contact with each other and help people get their jump start, especially people that you knew early in life. And that kind of tells you that Mars and Aries on the third, you very independent from your siblings, and you probably had to kind of parent a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, you know, you kind of had to be the stand-in parent a little bit. You know, with Aries on the third house, you had to, you know, be responsible early in your childhood. You know, and that can be a good thing and that can be a bad thing. You know, it's not a horrible thing because, you know, when you got that responsibility earlier on in life, you're less likely to jack off your resources. You know, and you innovative when it comes to, you know, developing ways to, you know, get your grind on and make money and stuff like that. You think outside the box. So it's good. Anybody else got their chart familiar with it? Hold on, little bro. Go ahead.
My Mars is in Taurus in the 10th house.
Mars and Taurus in the 10th house. Taurus on the 10th house, you shine by the hard work that you do. You know, and the diligence, and it gives you lasting power. You know, whatever career path you choose is going to be very lucrative for you. And you're going to, you know, once you see that it's lucrative for you, you're going to stick with it because Taurus is a fixed sign. A fixed sign on the 10th, it's like, okay, this formula's working. Ain't no need to change it up. And you say Mars is in the 10th?
Yes.
In 10th? Try to, if you can get some insight into it, look into like shipping and stuff. Shipping, moving material like them trucks that bring the concrete and all that stuff. Yeah. Anything to do with building, construction, moving earth materials, even if it's shipping produce, things that are the fruits of the earth, you'll make a lot of money. A lot of money. Next. Oh, John, what's going on? Bring it here, little brother. Okay, you got Mars in the fourth house in Taurus. The fourth house is our childhood environment. That tell me that it's kind of strict. It's kind of strict, and it gives you good fiscal sense. Your parents teach you about business and good money management. Yeah, that's good. That's good because you got, Jupiter and Saturn in both those houses. So your knowledge will help you not only accumulate wealth, but maintain it. Saturn build that foundation, that good foundation. Yes, ma'am.
Mars and Cancer in my fourth house.
Mars and Cancer in the fourth house. Anybody else got their charts pulled up?
I do.
Okay. If you don't got the chart pulled up, go to ALABE.com and put in your chart information. Hold on, somebody. Who else? You say Mars and Cancer in the fourth house. Mars and Cancer in the fourth house. That placement in the fourth house kind of made you more aggressive in your forms of love, and that's based on how you were taught to parent, because the fourth house tells not only how we parent, but how we were parented, and that's where we learn our parenting from. So, Mars in the fourth house, it shows love and nurturing, but if you don't do what I say, I can be mean to you. That's all I say. Yes, sir.
What does it mean? My Mars is in the 11th house.
Mars in 11. You a leader. The 11th house rules your friends, your hopes, and your wishes. Mars in that house, you initiate the things that and create those situations that will help you manifest your dreams and your hopes and wishes. It's a real, I'm responsible for my destiny. What sign is on the 11th house, cuz? Yeah, you lay down the foundation for your hopes and wishes yourself. You initiate and pick and choose who you want to be friends with, and those friends you got a real solid bond with, but they few and far in between. You know how to distinguish friends from associates. Maria?
Mars and Pisces in the 9th house.
Mars and Pisces in the 9th house. It is important for you to start asserting yourself on your spiritual journey. Pisces rules spirituality. Mars means initiating that energy, getting active. And the ninth house is higher learning and spirituality. So you need to assert yourself more in regards to your spiritual path and get out and see the world more, especially by water.
Second house, Mars, Libra.
Mars, again, the second house is the house of the money, the values, our own self-worth. It's important for you to, tell yourself, that you are beautiful and that you feel good about yourself, because how you feel directly affects your money. Directly affects your money. If you're not feeling yourself that day, you don't care if you're going to lose your job. I'm not going. I'm straight. I'll find another one when I'm feeling it. But surround yourself with more beautiful things. Beautify your life. If you got your own place or whatever, put stuff in there that make you feel good. Mm-hmm. That's a reflection of your beauty, a celebration of your beauty, and you gonna feel good more often. Because it's like having a big vision board around you all the time.
That's how my room looks.
Good. You're on the right path. What's going on, little bro?
Mars and Sagittarius in the 2nd house.
Mars and Sagittarius in the 2nd house. Again, Sagittarius rule. The 2nd house is the house of our personal value, self-worth, self-esteem, money. Travel is very important to you guys. Sagittarius rules travel, long distance travel. Freedom. The spirit of freedom is with you, and if you feel detained or boxed in, you will be absolutely miserable. And Mars gives you not only the money to travel, but it gives you the energy to keep up because it takes a lot out of you traveling, but it doesn't affect you as it affects other people. It energizes you when you go plane from plane to time zone. You yes, I'm getting to see, I'm getting to learn. Your values are based on your freedom, your ability to see the world and gain higher understanding. So as long as you, and I'm gonna tell you this, looking to start an import and export business. Look into that. Huh?
No.
He like, I do something.
Ask somebody to help you, brother. What's going on?
I had a question about the houses because
Austin, can you help me? Yeah, help the people that don't got their chart pulled up.
I got mine up.
Give me 1 second.
Because we already know what we're doing.
Hold up. I can't hear you. Please, be respectful. What'd you say, brother? Fourth house, Mars and Sagittarius. That the fourth house, Sagittarius on the fourth. That tells me that your household, your childhood, where you grew up, that it was a strict household, but they exposed you to a myriad of different cultures. You were allowed to experience different cultures and different spiritual philosophies. You guys probably went back and forth in and out the country, and it gave you an opportunity to expand your horizons. Your parents didn't limit your learning; they asserted to you that you're going to learn about all this stuff. Hold on, I told him that. I got you next. What's going on? Can somebody help him that know how to? What is it? You don't know it?
So broke. They're so broke.
Okay, hold on. It should be a chart. It does. It does. Okay, you got Virgo in the fifth. Mars. This is the first house right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way around. That's 12 right now. So you got Mars in your fifth house in Virgo. Mars in the fifth. This is what I'm gonna tell you. Mars in the fifth in Virgo. You have a propensity for making children, right? A propensity for making children, and
Ted, you need
you
to
know.
Start an army.
Use that sparingly. Virgo, it has to do, it's the energy of meticulousness, getting things organized, detail oriented. So although you have the potential to have a lot of children, the Virgo in you makes you choose who you're gonna have your children with very well.
Oh, blessings. That's beautiful, God.
And the fifth house also rules your creativity and gambling and stuff like that. So I feel like you would be a very good card player if it's not a bunch of decks. You count every card today. So gambling with Virgo on the fifth house is a good move because you good at seeing and recognizing everything that's been played, and you can turn that into a come up. I'm gonna get to everybody, I promise you. Let me get him, then I get you. Keep your hand up.
Mars and Leo in the third house.
Mars and Leo in the third.
What are you talking about?
I don't know what business you got, brother. But you need to take responsibility for the creative advertising.
Marketing?
Yeah. Because, you know, Leo on the third, it gives you the energy that you need to communicate in a dynamic way that puts a nice, you know, brag on it without making people feel offended. You know, you can make everything seem larger than life.
That's that Leo.
You know, so that on the third is good for marketing and advertising.
Gang.
I gotta get her. What you got? Pisces on the 12th house and Mars on the 12th. Again, the 12th house is our house of retreat. You know, where we go to recharge at. And Mars on the 12th, like I told her, you know, I feel like when things get tough for you, that's when you know that Mars in the 12th inspires you to cut yourself off from the things and people going on around you, and you take that time to pray or whatever you feel you got to do, and it helps you get where you're going. I got you next.
I gotta use my friends.
You got Mars and Leo in the third house, same as him, about communicating, writing, you know, getting your message out there in a creative way that, you know, people appreciate it. Give me 1 second. You pull yours up, you pull yours, I saw you looking for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what? Because I see you trying to get out of here.
I'm not sure. I think he said
Okay, you got Mars and Capricorn in your second house. Now, Capricorn, the second house is the house of money, your personal values, and your self-worth. I feel like it took a while for you to build up your self-esteem and really value yourself and build yourself to the point where you could say, I got this firm foundation, I know who I am, I don't need nobody else to tell me that I'm worth it, I know I'm worth it. It took you a minute to get to that place, but now that you're at that place, don't stop growing, because Capricorn on the second will take you very, very high. Capricorn's natural placement is on the 10th house, the top of the world. So the only limitations that you have with Capricorn on your second house is the limitations that you place on yourself. Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the planet that puts limitations, but limitations can also be structures for us to build upon. Mm-hmm. So you may limit your social activity without, you know, limit your social activity, the type of people that you deal with, get more specific, and start, you know, networking with people that are ascending, not descending. You know what I'm saying? And Mars in the second, in Capricorn, you always have that drive you need to get you where you want to go financially. And, you know, as I said, you build your self-worth up. Don't deal with people that keep going up. Keep going up. Bad associations spoil useful habits. Mm-hmm. If they ain't progressing, they regress. And even if they standing still, they're not going forward, so they're going backwards. Mm-hmm.
I already got some people like that.
Cut them off.
Mars
Just need to cut them off.
Mars and Leo, 12th house.
Mars and Leo in 12th house. Okay. We got to wrap it up in a minute. Mars and Leo in the 12th house. Stop repressing your shine. Stop repressing your shine.
Somebody tell him.
You know.
Say it again. I had to make sure. What are we talking about?
Oh,
big dog back there. Okay.
Mars and Leo in the 12th house, you know, you tend to repress your shine, and you tend to not assert yourself in ways that are beneficial to you. You know, everything doesn't have to be outlandish and over the top. But if you got a talent, you know, show your talent off. Don't suppress your talent. You the last one, little bro.
Yeah, because it's bracelets.
I'll talk to you after you say you gotta wrap it up. What
Mars
you
and
say?
Gemini, 12th house.
Mars and Gemini in the 12th house. The best way for you to start asserting your energy, because the 12th house is kind of locked up, you know, and locked in. If you can't tell people how you feel, you know, shoot them some words, man. You know, it's a phone. You got the text message and everything. Write a letter, even if it's people in your life. You know, your father you ain't got closure with, but you know it's a means for communication. Write that cat a letter and let them know how you feel. But remember, assert your energy in a positive way, in a way that's motivated by growth and not one that's motivated and led by fear and hurt. You know what I'm saying? That concludes for today.
Thank you.
If I ain't get to you, I'll get to y'all in person.